Today for Full Album Friday, we're going to check out A Tribe Called Quest's 1991 masterpiece, The Low End Theory. When it comes to the idea of that jazz hip-hop fusion, nobody has ever done it better than A Tribe Called Quest. And this is beyond a groundbreaking record for so many reasons. This is actually the group's second record, but it is far more complete and well-formed than their debut was. And in many ways, this record remains one of the blueprints for hip-hop music more than 20 years later. The reality is, when this album was released, it was going against almost every single trend in the hip-hop world, as it had a more relaxed, more intelligent approach than what a majority of their peers were creating. And yet the songs were just as, if not more, catchy and captivating. You can really see this album as the bridge between the pioneers like De La Soul and more recent acts that do it like Common and The Roots. Yet at the same time, the sound of A Tribe Called Quest is so wonderfully distinctive, it's simply never been equaled. The Low End Theory brings musical formations and moods unlike anything else you've ever heard. And it has these smooth, jazzy melodies that instantly get your head bobbing in the best way possible. At the same time, while the album certainly has a very strong cohesion, each track is completely unique in its style and its groove. And that's really it. It's the groove that you hear all across this album that makes it so fantastic. And every single track quickly becomes nothing short of addictive. You can hear everything from Hendrix to James Brown to Steve Miller Band in the samples on this record. And yet in most cases, the original melodies and sounds that they create remain the strongest. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that bass legend Ron Carter actually makes an appearance on this album, and it works perfectly. But as superb as the music is all across this album, you can't for a moment overlook the lyrical genius of Q-Tip and Phife Dawg. And to this day, this duo remains one of the best teams ever. When it comes to that idea of a smooth, natural flow, it's almost impossible to top these two, as the flawless interplay and verse passing that they do on every track is really as good as it gets. At the same time, it's the intelligence, the deep thought that they bring to every single track that makes them even better. And they cover everything from harsh social critiques to some of the most hilarious rhymes ever captured on tape. Just go listen to the song Check the Rhyme, and I guarantee you'll instantly be hooked on these guys. It's that simple. And let's not forget about the hit single here, Scenario, which features half a dozen rappers, including an up-and-coming artist named Busta Rhymes. This song hasn't aged in the least, and you can really never get enough of it. Some artists choose to ignore the trends because they see the trendiness in doing just that, while on the other hand, other artists ignore the trend because they simply have a better musical idea. And few artists have better epitomized the idea of keeping it real than A Tribe Called Quest do on every second of this album. When it comes down to it, the sounds and styles you hear all across the Low End Theory pretty much rewrote and re-cemented the brand new books on what was acceptable within hip-hop music. And you just can't deny the fact that this is one of those records that puts music into hip-hop music. Whether it's lyrically, musically, or outright creatively, you can't argue the fact that all these years later, the Low End Theory remains an absolute high watermark within the world of hip-hop music. And this one is beyond required listening, and if somehow it's not in your collection, you need to change that right away. Thank me later.